when I turn 80, I'm not going to work in here anymore. Well, here I am, I'm 80 and I'm still working. All right, now, main shaft in this mine was 1,420 feet straight down, as I mentioned. And that 1,420 feet powered by a hoist works. In other words, you had a steam engine up above that controlled the pulleys and the gears that hoist operator needed to raise and lower the cages to all 13 levels of this mine once it merged with the potassium mine in 1865. 13 different levels. This mine, ladies and gentlemen, was huge. Absolutely huge. Now, that hoist operator, without a doubt, had the most critical job of anybody on the mine site because he was responsible for the safety of those miners coming up and down in those open cages. Okay. And to blast out this whore face, they had to bring in a specialist. You see these two jackleg drills? We actually used these to drill these holes for explosives many years ago. Now, to blast out that ore face, they had to bring in a specialist. And that specialist, ladies and gentlemen, was commonly and affectionately referred to as a powder monkey. Now, last summer, had a nice family in here. There was this young lad, 6, 7 years old. And he said, how did he get the monkeys to do that? So I tried to explain to him that the term originated back in the 16th century when these giant square ships were men of war, and they had these boys, 12 years old, bring the powder up from the magazines and bring it to the cannon. And they were young and they scurried around a lot, and they were called monkeys. And that name has stuck even today. All right, Jake, bring it on up. One bell, stop it. Dump the ore into the ore carts, get it out of here on rails as quickly as possible. Then when you heard 2 bells, that meant now they had to get out of the way down there because they lowered a dad blasted bucket. And if that bucket were to break loose and hit somebody down there, that'd be a major violation of the Sense of Humor Act. Okay, now, an accident did happen. All right, now here is where things get exciting. Well, we had it figured out. 11,000 buckets over 25 years to create $17.3 million. And here's the kicker, ladies and gentlemen. We were not the #1 producer. We were 5th. Oh, wow. The #1 producer was the Con Virginia. The Golden Curry was 2nd. The Ophir was 3rd. The 4th was the Savage, and we were the 5th. Now you get the idea why we say we were the richest place on earth. Because we were. Okay. Now, when it was time to bring up those very heavy one-of-a-kind buckets, they had, after 1870, this winch. Oh, you see here, powered by compressed air. Now, this made the job a lot easier. Now, winch operator to be standing by there, he had to have a signal from down below to bucket.
That's a whole lot of bucket.
Yeah. The whole person can fit in that one.
Yeah. Now, this bucket is unique, as I mentioned, aside from the drama. Every bucket that came out of this mine, ladies and gentlemen, every bucket that came out of this mine from 1861 until the turn of the century, every bucket contained up to 1,500 ounces of silver worth $1,500. Back at a time when silver was $1 an ounce, gold was $20 an ounce. But for every ounce of gold that came out of this mine, 100 ounces of silver. Now you know why we're called the Silver State. Okay, now